5 gallons of each, Reggie.
Each one?
Each one.
Okay.
So what we're talking about is these two, put it in a pump sprayer,
Mm-hmm.
1.5 ounces and 4.5 ounces, that's not much.
Mm-hmm.
With a gallon of rainwater.
Okay. I got some rainwater collected.
Spray these guys once a week,
Okay.
just in the evening or whenever you got time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't drip them on, just light mist. These things will take off. Most groundwater, well water, has too high of an EC, electrical conductivity.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it'll have a pH of 7 or more and an EC of 7 plus.
Mm-hmm.
What we want is a pH, our water to have a pH of about 6.2
Mm-hmm.
and an EC of 0.22. That way there's enough room on that water molecule for added mineral nutrition,
Uh-huh.
and that is otherwise being taken up by iron, too much iron on that molecule, and we never have the ability then to attach anything else to it. So by utilizing the rainwater, pH is perfect, the EC is perfect. All we're going to do then is add a few more minerals that will round out the photosynthesis and the health of this plant.
Huh. Well, there you go. Makes sense.
It's
That's
easy.
your scientist?
It's easy. it's the art and science of farming.
So this one too.
Yep.
Take out. That this bloom right here kind of like withered or died a little
But
bit.
okay, but you do have a fruit,
Yeah.
and
But that
so
yeah, that was out.
yep. All right. So what's happening here on apples? You'll get blossoms where you'll have 3, 4, 5 blossoms in a cluster,
Mm-hmm.
and this one that did pollinate is called the king fruit. So it's the one at the end. When we can get our nutrition up to speed in all of these, we can get 2, 3, 4
Those.
fruit per cluster.
Nice.
So you can dramatically increase the quality and the quantity as we're going. Next, let's do this. Get your product, spray them
Okay.
for the next month, 2 months, and then how about I come back in July and August again, and I'll help you learn about pruning.
Okay. Because I would have to prune it a little bit.
Yep. We want all these that have crosses that they're rubbing. We want those out. We want these to splay out. So honestly, I want this one to have the fruit on it because I want you to taste it. But eventually this one's got to come out.
Hold on.
This one will probably come out because we want all of these branches to be more horizontal than vertical.
Okay.
When they're horizontal,
That's-
that's an apple.
Mhm.
When they're horizontal, it changes the hormone in the tree and we'll get more fruiting buds. When they're vertical, it's going to grow tall and be vegetative and not have fruit. If we were to take this one and just put a little bit of a weight on it out here and try not to have it where it's in line with anybody else, I would prune this one off. I would tip it back a little bit, and so it would strengthen it up, and just hang, a string with a small sack of rock or something, just to hold this down. It will then strengthen here and grow around this and make for a stronger branch.
Okay.
And then, how tall do you want these to be?
Well, I'm not very tall myself.
Me either. So I would keep these tall branches, keep them down. and then keep splaying these guys out so that you can reach everything.
Right. So you're saying to weigh them though?
To weigh them down
And then
just a
cut-
little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
And not allow any verticals. So that guy would come off, and you want to kind of keep the middle open so that there's good airflow and good sunlight coming into it. And then just keep it splayed out. And then if you feel like, oh, this is getting pretty long and it's not very strong, all you're going to do then is pinch it back. Just cut it off. But when you do that, cut it just this side of a bottom facing sprout. If you cut it here, this one's going to go straight up. If you cut it to the bottom, it's going to keep coming out this way. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. You will know that you're making a difference when these leaves are nearly as wide as they are long. When that foliar feed that you're going to put on, it'll make the leaves wider so that they're better solar collectors, and that will help the plant. The other thing why I want you to spray the Accelerate on, and why we're doing all of this, almost all of our fruit trees set their flower buds for next year. They can initiate that in August and September this year. So if we don't give this plant everything it needs, it'll then become a tree that bears every other year. And if we can fulfill its nutritional needs, it'll bear for you every year.
That's what we want.
Yes.
With the curling of the leaves, does that mean lack of water?
It's more lack of nutrition.
So we have to put that on there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's the information I needed. That's the information I needed because I wasn't sure, and this is my first year with these.
Absolutely. You've got a great foundation here. This is fantastic. You've got trees. That's the first step, to have trees. But then knowing how to take care of them. If you did nothing else, this tree is going to be big. It's going to be hard to pick from. It's going to have crummy looking fruit. It'll be small fruit. It'll have bugs in it, or it'll have this, or it'll have that. You can manage these trees to where you have no disease, no bugs, clean fruit, all of that.
That's what we want.
Yep.
Okay.
And a lot of it.
Okay.
All right, here's something else. You could weigh these, out a little bit. You want to, leave the fruit on until you harvest it. But you could also cut little sticks that have a notch in the end and use them as spreaders and be able to spread it out just a little more. Because if this is left this way, this is a weak joint because there's not very much growth around here. But if we splay this out a little bit, all of a sudden it'll start to put more growth around there, and it'll be stronger.
Okay.
If we don't do that, it's likely to get a weight of fruit on here and split
And break off.
and break.
Okay.
Don't feel like, oh my God, I've cut too much, as you prune. And like I said, I'll come back and I'll help you. Let's give it a couple months and just see where everything is. But those are things that you can do now. You can start to spread these and get them out.
Is this all nutrition?
Yep. I would take these little guys, 1, 2, 3 off, and that dead one there. I would leave this one on because it's got fruit on it. If you're wanting to get fruit, that's great. But otherwise, this one's got to go. And these would go too, because you want to keep them fairly low, open, and have all of the fruit up and down the stem
Mhm.
and not all out at the ends.
Okay.
I'm giving you a lot of fire hose at the moment, but
Well, as long as you come back, I'll do what you.
okay.
Take that
We'll
off.
loosen this for sure and take it off probably. But Honeycrisp, making sure that this one gets sprayed consistently. It needs plenty of calcium, and there should be plenty of calcium in those.
Okay.
But this might be one that we'll have to do extra calcium on in order so that they don't get like pit rot. You want it to be firm all the way through, you know, all of that. These tend to have issues of calcium uptake, and so sometimes doing your foliar spray will help, and we'll know if we're short on calcium if you start to see these leaves start to get bubbles and blisters.
Mm-hmm.
It needs more calcium.
So this is still nutrition, right?
It
Because
is.
this doesn't
Yep.
look, you know.
And that's part of what's
I
happening.
thought it was water, so I kept bringing water out. Then I put the mulch down.
Yep.
But the leaves are not looking very, you know, as
No.
healthy as I'd like.
Nope. It's missing some stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So
And then here, yeah, you want this tree to come up, but in some ways, you don't want it to be much taller than this. You want it to splay out so
Right.
you can pick them and that you can send the kids out here to pick them.
Mhm. So how do I keep that from?
So in that vein, at some point, probably this fall, where this little twig here wants to come out that direction, I'd cut this right about there. And then let this one become dominant going that way, and we might find another one, maybe this one becomes dominant and we cut this.
Cut the whole top off.
Yep.
Okay.
And just trying to keep them down, but also trying to keep the middle of it open so that you've got good airflow, there's good sunlight so that they ripen and color up nice.
Nice.
And you see how this one is already wanting to splay out,
This one here.
and the
Oh,
next
this
one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So when I got it though, and I asked the guy, I said, "Well, should they hang like this?" And he said, "Well, you should probably cross it to support it."
Mm-mm,
No.
mm-mm. I'll disagree.
I
So
don't-
this is a Jonathan. Okay. Jonathans are really easy to splay out like this, so that's awesome. If you want, I would do this sooner than later. I would tip these back. You don't want any of them to cross,
Okay.
so take that.
So that was the wrong advice, huh?
Yeah, I'm sorry. But
Mhm.
you need to tip them back so that they're not continuing to put growth out this way, that they're going to start to put thicker, more wood on the branch
Okay.
and toughen themselves up.
You see them a little droopy.
Yep.
Right. And so that's what I was worried about, was because they were droopy, and this one looks like.
And it's got some nutrition, and all of this those sprays will
Will help.
boost all of these amazingly so.
That's fruit.
Yep. And this one may not stay because it's turning yellow. But we'll come back. I don't want to prune too much just yet because these plants are just really still getting their bearings and getting established. A lot of people will prune fruit trees